Crossing the Threshold of Knowledge, Milan Kundera's Immortality, Questioning the Meaning of Life. Dear readers, or perhaps someone who is yet to fully discover the joys of reading, I would like to share a special story with you today. Does the word book somehow feel difficult or rigid to you? Do you think you need to accumulate complex knowledge or profound cultural refinement to read it? If so, please let go of that notion for a moment. The book I introduce today, Milan Kundera's Immortality, possesses a magical power that shatters such preconceptions and allows you to see your own life and the world around you with new eyes. Kundera's Immortality is not merely a novel that tells a story. This book is more akin to a philosophical exploration that continuously poses questions about life and death, love and jealousy, fame and image, and the vast question of immortality that we all, knowingly or unknowingly, yearn for. There is no need to worry, though. Kundera addresses these deep and weighty questions with wit, humor, and most importantly, through tangible stories and characters that resonate with our lives. If you simply have a desire to understand yourself more deeply rather than reading for knowledge or cultural refinement, this book will offer you surprising insights. 1. The immense questions found in an ordinary life. Immortality. Immortality unfolds as the lives of multiple characters intertwine like warp and weft. The story begins uniquely, with Kundera himself appearing as a character who starts writing a novel after being inspired by an elderly woman's wave-like gesture at a swimming pool. From this random gesture, he draws out the meaning of the life and death of that woman, and the concept of immortality he wishes to explore. The main characters are two sisters, Annis and Laura. Annis is a solitary and introspective person who pursues her own sincerity rather than societal approval or success. She constantly engages with herself and focuses inward on her inner world. In contrast, Laura is outgoing and values social success and the approval of others. She longingly desires attention and care, dedicating herself to cultivating her self-image. These two sisters' opposing life attitudes prompt us with fundamental questions. How am I living? What truly makes me happy? Characters like Rubens, who is entangled with Laura, and Avenarius, who is obsessed with her, further reveal the complexity of human relationships and the multifaceted faces of love and obsession. The novel also interweaves the stories of Goethe, the great German writer of the 18th century, and the women in his life. Why does Goethe suddenly appear? Kundera shows how Goethe's historical figure was transformed and consumed as an immortal image by his contemporaries and successors, raising questions about the gap between real life and the constructed image. Even other famous authors like Ernest Hemingway enter the narrative as souls in conversation, offering insight into the hollowness of fame, immortality, and image. This multi-layered narrative might seem complex at first, but Kundera is an exceptional storyteller. He guides readers with a warm, conversational tone akin to chatting with a longtime friend, often adding humor along the way. With delicate psychological descriptions, he captures the inner struggles of his characters and sharpens the dilemmas we face in our daily lives. 2. The profound insights of immortality. What is our immortality? Kundera's Immortality holds multiple meaningful questions beyond just an engaging story. Let's examine these questions one by one and ponder what we can gain from this book. 2.1. Two Faces of Immortality. Great and Small. Kundera divides immortality into two categories in the novel. One is great immortality, representing the eternal fame of great historical figures such as Goethe and Hemingway, remembered by countless people. The other is small immortality, meaning the personal memories and lives remembered by a few close people like family, friends, or lovers. We often associate the word immortality with great historical achievements or eternal fame. However, Kundera warns against overlooking the value of small immortality in our daily lives. Living faithfully to one's own life like Annis and being remembered warmly by loved ones could be the truly meaningful immortality for each of us. Today, we continuously expose ourselves on social media and yearn for likes and follows, resembling a modern desire for great immortality. Yet, immortality asks us, what is the immortality you truly desire? Is it an image displayed to many, or the warm hearts of a few who remember your genuine life? 2.2. The battle between image and self. Who am I, really? The novel constantly explores how images can overwhelm and distort a person's true self. Laura seeks her worth within others' eyes and spends energy cultivating her image. This mirrors our current behavior of meticulously crafting our online self via a single social media profile or post. We long for validation through carefully curated images, but is our true self gradually fading away in the process? Kundera deepens this issue by showing how historical figures like Goethe and Hemingway are reshaped and consumed as images by later generations. Even the lives and complex inner worlds of great individuals vanish, leaving only a simplified, popular heroic image desired by the masses. In this way, Immortality prompts us: what is the real you hidden behind the constructed image? Are you living in a way that meets others' expectations? These questions make us reconsider what it truly means to live authentically. 2.3. The meaning of a gesture, the absurdity and truth of life. One of the central concepts of the novel and its starting point is the gesture. Kundera introduces this concept through the wave-like gesture of an elderly woman at a swimming pool. Initially, this gesture might have been uniquely expressive of her. However, if this gesture spreads and becomes a trend among many people, what happens? The original creativity vanishes, and the gesture becomes a meaningless repetition. Kundera uses this gesture to discuss how human actions, trends, and even art and ideas lose their original meaning and become absurdly repeated. This is connected with many modern phenomena. Trends explode and disappear quickly, uniform thinking spreads, and individual ways of living are replaced by following the crowd. Are we truly living with our own meaningful gestures, or are we mindlessly repeating others' gestures? This question makes us reflect on whether our actions and choices are genuinely our own. 2.4. The maze of chance and choice, where lies the meaning of life. The novel is filled with numerous coincidences and strange connections. Kundera shows how these coincidences influence characters' lives and how they respond to them. For some, chance seems like fate; for others, it's just an insignificant event. Thus, the novel suggests that life is full of uncontrollable coincidences, and our choices and responses to these coincidences eventually shape our lives. Our lives also don't always follow planned paths. Unexpected events and random encounters can change the direction of our lives. Immortality acknowledges this unpredictability of life and challenges us to consider how we might find meaning within it. 3. Why recommend this book to someone who feels they lack knowledge or culture? Now it's time to answer the most important question: I feel I have neither knowledge nor culture. Can I really read a book like this? My answer is a resolute yes. In fact, this might be the very reason you should read it. 3.1. Reading is a pleasure of thinking, not a difficult study. We've been taught from a young age to see reading as an extension of study. Yet books are not tools for memorizing knowledge, but companions for a joyful journey of understanding the world and reflecting on ourselves. Immortality is not a dry theoretical book, but a philosophical inquiry delivered through stories of people we might encounter in our daily lives. Like an elderly neighbor sharing wisdom, Kundera warmly and humorously invites us to a world of thought. 3.2. A mirror reflecting your life. The struggles of the characters in Immortality, such as the desire for fame and image, love and obsession, and the pursuit of authenticity in life, are not just the stories of fictional people. They represent all of us today, who are caught up in social media and the pressures of others' expectations. This book will bring to the surface the daily concerns you've perhaps overlooked and ask, why am I living this way? What do I truly desire? As you read, you'll empathize with Anna's introspection or understand Laura's desires, reflecting on your own life and choices. 3.3. Broadening your view of the world. Immortality is filled with Kundera's extraordinary insights. He extends beyond individual lives to offer sharp critiques of modern society, including media culture, celebrity trends, and the hollowness of fads. Reading this book is not just following a story but experiencing the world through the lens of the great thinker Kundera. As a result, You'll learn to understand events around you more deeply and develop the ability to see through the surface to grasp their essence. 3.4. Culture isn't about quantity of knowledge, but depth of inquiry. True culture isn't about how much knowledge you possess, but how deeply you question and reflect on life and the world. Immortality doesn't offer answers. Instead, it keeps asking questions. As you explore these questions yourself, you naturally build your own culture. After reading Milan Kundera's book, you'll likely notice that your perspective on the world and yourself has subtly changed. In conclusion, becoming the protagonist in the grand novel of life. Milan Kundera's Immortality is certainly not a light read. Yet, this weight doesn't burden us, it gracefully leads us into a profound world of thought. Reading a book is not only glimpsing into someone else's life but also reflecting on your own. In particular, Immortality raises fundamental questions about ourself, our values, and how we wish to be remembered, guiding us to begin the journey of discovering our true self. Don't be afraid. Courageously open this book. You'll soon fall into Kundera's captivating prose and profound insights as you turn each page. And when you finally close the book, you'll likely realize that the word immortality is no longer a distant or grand concept to you, but a deeply personal and precious meaning hidden in your daily choices and ways of life. I sincerely hope this book will allow you to live as the true protagonist in your own grand novel of life.